What's up, family? Man, this is a challenging video to make. This is part 10 of our relationship series. This one's titled Picking Up the Pieces. Picking up the pieces. Man, relationships, there's so much coming at us. You know what I mean? Once you get in a relationship, there's so many hurdles, so many obstacles that we have to overcome, so many challenges that we face. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is that a lot of it don't even have anything to do with us per se. You know what I mean? Man, this whole series we've been talking about dealing with our trauma and the stuff that we've gone through in the past, you know what I mean, from our childhood and failed relationships. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that don't even have anything to do with us. Some of the challenges that we face in relationships that ain't got nothing to do with our trauma and our pain and our suffering. The baggage we're carrying. You know what I mean? I was taking a class today and they was throwing out some statistics to me that just hit me, that just kind of messed me up. You know what I mean? And one of them was, man, in the United States, there are over 40,000 people that die every year due to an automobile accident. 40,000 people die annually due to some type of automobile accident. Over 40,000 people die in the United States annually to suicide. 40,000. There's almost 30,000 people that die in the United States that are murdered. Murdered. 30,000. Just from those three things. Those three things right there. Suicide, murder, car accidents. They take out over 110,000 people in the United States every day. Every year. 110,000 every year. That comes out to over 300 people die every single day. To one of those three things: a car accident, being murdered, or suicide. Why am I talking about this? Because a lot of times in relationships, we have to deal with something of this magnitude. A lot of times in relationships, the family has to deal with the loss of a loved one, whether it's their daughter, their son, their grandchild, parent. Somebody in the family dies. And now we got to deal with that trauma. The trauma of that person being murdered, the trauma of that person committing suicide, the trauma of that person dying in a car accident. We didn't plan for any of these things to happen. We didn't know none of this stuff was going to happen. So you can't prepare for somebody dying in a car accident. You can't prepare for somebody dying in suicide. You can't prepare for somebody being murdered. So on top of all the other crap you got to deal with, there are some things that are completely outside of your control. That's going to have an impact on your relationship. I'm going to say that again. Me and my wife are together. She has her issues she's carrying and she's got to deal with. I have my issues I'm carrying and I got to deal with. Now something happens outside of our control to somebody we love and value. Somebody we adore. Something happens to one of them. And that has a devastating impact on our relationship. that has a devastating impact on that person connected to the person who lost their life. And if we're not careful, it's going to destroy our relationship. "300 people die every day due to a car accident, being murdered, or suicide." 300 people. 300 families are impacted. At least 300 families are impacted every day. "300 families, at least, has something tragic happen to them that they wasn't prepared for. They weren't ready to have to deal with and face. You guys have heard me say in the past, just like that, you could get a phone call that changed your life. You could get a phone call, you could get a text message. You could get a knock at the door that has devastating impact, a life-changing impact on you. Just like that. You could get a knock at the door from the cops. You could get a phone call from another family member telling you that somebody's in a hospital and they're not going to make it. Or they found somebody's body and it's at the morgue. Why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this and having to do with relationships? Because we've got to grow the fuck up, family. We so often, we blow shit out of proportion. You and I, we're in a relationship, my wife, we're in a relationship, and we're frustrated financially, and we're frustrated with this, we do all this stupid, superficial bullshit. Man, we're fighting, we're at odds with it, da-da-da-da. We can't come to grips with all this other stupid, superficial shit that ain't really mean shit to us in the grand scheme of life. But one or three of these things can happen. And all this other shit right here that we're dealing with, man, it don't even fucking matter. All this other shit that we're dealing right here, it's not even fucking important anymore. Because one, we could get a phone call. We could get that text message. We could get a knock at that motherfucking door. And it can ruin your motherfucking life. It can ruin your motherfucking year. And we're tripping off of this bullshit. We're tripping off this petty ass bullshit. We've got to grow the fuck up. We've got to understand, okay, what's really important to us? What's really a motherfucking priority? Let me stop tripping off the small shit. Because the reality is, that could be my wife that I love that's in a car accident, that's killed. That could be my kid, my grandkid, my mama, that could be somebody that I love and adore that's taken from me just like that. And I'm over here wasting time and energy tripping off this trivial ass bullshit. Stressing over some bullshit. Man, we got to grow up. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. Is that relationship worth it to you? I know so many people who've had their lives drastically changed because they lost someone that they loved. You guys hear me talk about November, December timeframe. The more people commit suicide during that time frame of the year than any other time in the United States. During the holiday season, more people commit suicide during that time frame. My family knows a young lady who has a birthday on December 24th, Christmas Eve. And this last birthday, her son committed suicide. Let me say it differently. My family knows a young lady, and her son committed suicide on her birthday, the day before Christmas. You can't understand the pain that that family is going to carry moving forward. Christmas ain't gonna mean the same no more. Her birthday ain't gonna mean the same anymore. And again, you've heard me say, November, December timeframe, the holiday season in America, more people commit suicide that timeframe than any other time of the year. And we talk about the people that commit suicide, but we don't talk about the families that's left behind. We don't talk about the gaping hole left in this family now, moving forward. I know a young lady personally. I grew up with a young lady. Whose son was taken from her. Murdered in his car in front of her house. I can't imagine the pain and the trauma that she's carrying behind that. I can't imagine the pain and the trauma his daddy is carrying. I can't imagine the pain and the trauma his sisters are carrying. God help us. Family. There are some things that are outside of our control. A lot of things that are outside of our control. We had better learn to get our shit straight. We had better learn to stop fighting and arguing over small bullshit. It's big as fuck to us, but it's insignificant. We've made it out to be something big. Until you get that phone call. Until you get that knock at the door. Until you get that text message. So many relationships fail. So often we're arguing and fighting over bullshit. Because we got fucking ego issues and we got unresolved trauma and baggage we're carrying. And because of our fucking pride, we can't come together and resolve our little petty ass fucking differences. I'm talking about picking up the pieces. Picking up the pieces. So often relationships fail. And then after they failed and after we've grown and healed from it, we come to realize, damn, we got into it over some bullshit. We got in a fight and it wasn't really nothing. It wasn't even really that fucking important. It wasn't even really that motherfucking bad. But because I hadn't dealt with my fucking issues and my insecurities and my fears and all my other bullshit, and because they hadn't dealt with their shit, now we blew the fuck up and everything's done and gone and you're the worst motherfucker walking the planet and I can't stand you and I hate you and what to do, and we're running off at the fucking mouth because we've been hurt and we've been triggered. And then when the dust settles, we overreact. And then when the dust settles, damn, I fucked up. But there's no going back. I fucked up and said some shit and did some shit that I can't undo. Picking up the pieces. How do you move forward after some tragic shit like that happens to you? How do you move forward after seeing your daughter or your son or your grandchild land on that gurney, land on that table in the hospital, and they're gone? How do you move forward after knowing that your child, your grandchild, have taken their own life? Because of the pain and trauma that they was carrying and they couldn't handle it anymore. How do you pick up the pieces and move forward? I have a friend. His son was his early 20s. Early 20s. Just got married. Just had a baby. Was driving UPS or one of the companies like that. And was killed in a car accident. In his early 20s, he didn't do anything wrong. Nobody expected nothing like that to happen. He hadn't even reached the prime of his life yet. Just got married, just had a kid. And he's gone. can't imagine that pain. I can't. I was watching this video earlier today of this couple. Who got a phone call. Their daughter was in a hospital. This couple had been arguing and fighting over finances and some other stuff, but they got this phone call that their daughter was in a hospital. She had been in a car accident. This young lady that passed away didn't do anything wrong. She was in the prime of her life. Pregnant with her second child. She had a baby in the back seat, in a seat belt, in their car seat, sitting at a stop sign. And somebody under the influence of drugs lost control of their vehicle and just smashed the head, just took the whole top off of this young lady's car. The baby in the back seat was gone. When the parents got to the hospital, their grandchild was already gone. Their daughter was still warm. And by the time they got there, she was gone. The baby she was carrying, gone. And we're arguing and fighting over some stupid ass bullshit. When life can get motherfucking real motherfucking quick. And you tripping off bullshit. We had better grow the fuck up. We had better grow the fuck up. We had better learn to check our motherfucking ego and deal with our motherfucking bullshit. Because life can get real motherfucking difficult for you real motherfucking fast. And you're not going to be ready for it. You're not going to know how to deal with that bullshit. Over 300 people in America die every year due to a car accident, due to being murdered, and committing suicide. That's not including all the other deaths. People dying because they're sick, people dying because of malpractice in the hospital, and that's just a lot. There's a whole lot of motherfuckers that die in the hospital. Due to fucking incompetence. We're not talking about cancers. We're not talking about any of that other stuff. 300 people die every year. Just like that. We wasn't ready for that. We weren't prepared for that. And we got a phone call saying, this one's gone. That's gonna fuck you up. That's gonna royally fuck you up. If you tripping off this little petty ass bullshit, you arguing and fighting over some stupid ass insignificant bullshit, because you don't know how to deal with your fucking ego, you don't know how to deal with your fucking issues, and that shit's fucking you up. God forbid one of those three things happen in your family. To somebody you're close to somebody you love and adore. We've got to grow up. We've got to understand there are certain things that I can't control. But there are certain things that I can control. I have all the fucking control in the world over learning how to deal with my fucking petty ass bullshit. I have all the fucking control in the world of learning how to deal with my fucking trauma and my pain and the baggage and my insecurities and fear and low self-esteem. And so I have all the motherfucking control in the world to learn how to deal with that shit in a healthy motherfucking way. I can't imagine how fucked up somebody has to be or is going to be if you can't handle the shit you've gone through and you got all that pain and trauma and baggage and bullshit you can't do all that shit you got on your plate, and then something like this happened. Something devastating outside of your motherfucking control happened. Man, we have to grow up. We have to grow up. Picking up the pieces. Picking up the pieces. God, help us learn how to deal with our fucking bullshit. God, help us learn how to let go of that fucking trauma and that pain and that negative bullshit that we've been carrying for 30 and 40 and 50 fucking years. Because none of us are ever ready to get that phone call. None of us are ever ready to get that knock at the door. And yet it happens over 300 times a day. Man, we have to grow up. We have to grow up. And family, I didn't mean to depress you or anything with this video, but it's just real shit. You know what I mean? It's just real talk. And sometimes we have to see shit like this. Sometimes we have to be slapped in the face with some fucking real shit from time to time to wake us the fuck up. to get us to snap the fuck up out of it and get busy and serious about life. And stop playing fucking bullshit games. I hope and pray that I said something to encourage you, to challenge you, to inspire you. I love you. Happy healing. Peace.